Joining us right now is former Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain. Sir, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria.
So what was your reaction to the debate last night?
My reaction was Tim Kaine, as expected, was well scripted, and Mike Pence was poised and polite. And Pence was poised and polite and knowledgeable, and Kaine was well scripted, and he threw out a lot of random numbers. And that's how and why he continued to interrupt Mike Pence. As you listen to Tim, K-A-I-N-E, I don't want people to confuse it with C-A-I-N.
That's good. Okay? That's very good. No relation there, right, Herman Cain?
As they continued to listen to Tim, K-A-I-N-E,
right,
he sounded like a used car salesman, throwing out random numbers. And he was well scripted on all of the liberal attack talking points against Trump and Pence. That's what came through to me. If I had to rate the debate last night, I would give Mike Pence a B+. The only reason he didn't get an A is because Tim, K-A-I-N-E, kept interrupting him.
Yeah.
Tim Kaine would get an absolute B because it was scripted. It was just the liberal attack dog talking points, and that's what came through to me.
Yeah, it definitely was scripted. I mean, the whole you're fired or you're hired president was a little much.
That fell flat, too. That did not resonate with anybody.
Yeah.
That was cutesy, but it didn't resonate.
Judy?
I don't know. Look, they are ahead. The Hillary's people are on a roll, thanks in part because of Donald Trump shooting himself in the foot again and again. But this strategy has been working for them. Scaring the American people about Donald Trump is a strategy that works, and Tim Kaine did that effectively last night.
I think one of the important things that didn't come across last night is that the current tax code is littered with special interests, and it only benefits, the biggest companies as well as the wealthiest people. And Donald Trump's plan actually attacks that and actually makes it more of a fair tax code. I mean, Hillary Clinton is a crony capitalist. So that's the problem when you have the Democrats come in and they just point at tax returns when the real issue here is that we're trying to make the tax system more fair and it could benefit all people, the middle class. So I think her attacks on raising this, she's not going to do 65% estate tax. She's just not going to do it.
She's not going to do it.
No, absolutely not. And I think Democratic strategists say that as well. They don't think it's going to go through.
Dicey for the Republicans to talk about taxes right now with Donald Trump's being on the front page as not having paid taxes for personal income tax for the past 18 years. I think that's not a winning point for them.
Well, you know what? I don't think that it's a winning point for the Clinton campaign to keep hammering it. And I'll tell you why. Frank Luntz tweeted this last night. And Herman, you can jump in here. Americans hate taxes. Who in their right mind likes paying taxes? So I know that it's different because he's a wealthy individual. People hate taxes. What might resonate is if you stiff your contractors, because that hurts people. But don't tell me that, yay, paying taxes is awesome. I love writing a check every year to the IRS. Right. And I think that that's where they get it wrong.
You're right, Dagan. Yes, Dagan, I would agree with you. And here's the other thing that wasn't apparent to most of the viewers last night. One of the architects of Obamacare, Jonathan Gruber, said it best. Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage and based in part on the stupidity of the American people. The tax code isn't transparent. Obamacare isn't transparent, and a lot of the attack points that Tim, K-A-I-N-E, brought out last night is based upon lack of transparency.
Yeah.
I agree. The strategy of continuing to talk about Donald Trump's taxes and his tax returns, where they make a lot of assumptions, I don't think that dog's going to hunt very long, in my opinion, with the general public.
Jonathan Gruber, there's a name from the past. Yeah, he called the American people stupid. I remember that. That was horrible. But when we're on this tax plan, I think what I find really interesting is Pence was able to lay out what Donald Trump is trying to do, and that is lower taxes, roll back regulations. But Tim Kaine doesn't really have as cohesive a message. Let's listen to this exchange on how Governor Pence really talked about the tax issue and defended Donald Trump with regard to his personal taxes.
Those tax returns that came out publicly this week showed that he faced some pretty tough times 20 years ago. But like virtually every other business, including the New York Times not too long ago, he used what's called net operating loss. This whole riff about not paying taxes and people saying he didn't pay taxes for years, Donald Trump has created tens of thousands of jobs, and he's paid payroll taxes, sales taxes,
Senator, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds.
Did Governor Pence do a good job of defending Trump's decision to hold off on releasing the tax returns? And what about the overall message in terms of the economic plans on both sides?
I think he did a great job. And here's the other thing. Only a couple of sheets have come out. I have said repeatedly, I don't think he should release his tax returns at all. That is a liberal pressure point that they keep pushing, because all that would do, it would take a multi-billion-dollar tax return and give the nitpickers more places to pull out things and make assumptions. Look at the assumptions they made based upon a couple of leaked sheets. Imagine what they would do if they had the entire tax return. Yeah. It would just be fuel that they would want to throw on the fire and make the assumptions and accusations like Tim Kaine did last night.
All right,
over and over and over.
We will leave it there, Herman Cain. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Herman.